Well, we are very excited. It is 4 o'clock on the dot, so we're going to get started. I feel like we'll have some more people join us. Um, I know that some of you, like in Rita's case, are points of contact for your school district that are on here to get some information about GREC Ed today. Some of you are interested in pursuing GREC Ed. We are recording this and it will be available, I think, maybe by tomorrow. So if you watch today and say, oh, you got to see this, or you want to go back and watch it again for more information, feel free to, and we'll make the recording available. We are going to do more of these Zoom info meetings over the next few weeks. One of the slides today will show you that schedule. We are coming near the point where we're ready to launch our GREC Ed website. We're still doing some final developments on it. But yeah, lots of information. So we'll jump in and get started. Let me introduce myself. My name is Bart Fleener. I'm the executive director and team member here at GRREC. If you don't know, that's Green River Regional Educational Cooperative. I'll try to get out of the way there and let you see that. It took me a while to learn the spelling of it. I kept wanting to put 2 E's in it for a while. But that's Green River Regional Educational Cooperative. And we are located in Bowling Green. And a couple other people you'll be meeting during the course of the visit today will be Dan Costello and Kelly Davis. And I will give them an intro in just a minute. But if you guys would wave and if you want to give a shout out, that's fine. Two of our directors here at GRREC, and again, I'll introduce them in just a minute. But we want to tell you about GRREC Ed, so here goes. That is the GRREC building in Bowling Green. Hopefully you've been here before. We do lots of professional learnings. It's a great place to be. We love it here. We have about 40 folks on the GRREC team that work here, not always in the building, but out in the districts a lot with you all. And GRREC is Green River Regional Educational Cooperative. We are one of the 8 co-ops in the state of Kentucky. We serve 45 public school districts in Kentucky. There's 171 school districts total in the state of Kentucky, and we serve 45 of them. So we're all the way west to Crittenden County and all the way over to Russell County in the east, all the way up to Marion County and Nelson and E-Town, and over to Owensboro in the northwest. And we go all the way up to Meade and Breckenridge. So I've been getting the privilege of traveling around to the school districts in this fall. I've been to 25 and got 20 to go. And it's been some of my favorite parts, just to travel the roads and see the great things that are going on in your districts. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I feel like I use a lot of words in education, but we're going to give you an attempt here. Actually at some media. This is a commercial that we have made. Give a lot of credit to Terry Stice, one of our team members here at GRREC, that I think helped and basically was behind the design of this commercial. We played it the other day for our staff at a staff meeting. It may get hung up. If it does, we'll just escape out. But I thought it'd be a great way just to let you get an idea of maybe what GRREC Ed might be all about. Thanks, Terry, for your work on that video. And you saw a lot of things in there. We're going to try to boil down. If you were trying to boil it down to one slide, maybe this is that slide. What does GREC Ed provide? GREC Ed got approved officially last Monday, October 12th, by the EPSB, Educational Professional Standards Board, who is now known as the OELE, that's Office of Educator licensure and effectiveness, in case you needed a couple more acronyms for your educational world. But they approved us to roll out a plan that we would take you through if you apply and are accepted and enroll in GREC Ed, that over a couple years would allow you to have a very rigorous job-embedded professional learning program that would in the end grant you a rank change. So the three things that we think GREC Ed provides, if we were listing the top three, everybody wants to know about the cost. We know that for some of us educators on here, some of the GREC team members like me that have been around education for a while, you had to go get your master's. You know, you had 5 years to get it started. You had 10 years to get it finished, or they take your certificate away. And that was in effect until really 2 falls ago, when they changed the legislation and said, basically, you no longer have to have a master's degree to continue teaching in the state of Kentucky. But people still want to develop professionally, and they still want an opportunity to see that salary change through a rank change as well. And so that's when EPSB allowed, through what was known as continuing education options, they allowed educational cooperatives like us to apply for and submit a proposal, and if accepted, start a program that would allow people to get a rank change through our professional learning opportunities. And that's what we got. So we feel like it's a, excuse me, a very cost-effective route to earn a rank change. You saw the cost in the video. It's $5,500. That can be payable over 2 years. We'll talk more about that later. You also, one of the greatest features in my mind is that you get peer collaboration. What we mean by that is that you will be placed in a cohort of 15 to 25 folks, and you will work with that cohort over 2 years. Those of you that have been in cohort model before, it's really a great way to learn. You get support, you get camaraderie, and we feel like that'd be one of the greatest things about this. In that cohort, you will have a facilitator that leads a cohort. But even more exciting, you will have an individual mentor. So if we launch cohort 1 in January of 2021, which is the plan, let's say we have 20 folks in that pursuing their GREC Ed. There'll be one facilitator that'll organize the meetings, which will happen monthly, and work folks through their learning progression. But there'll also be 20 mentors for each of those candidates. Each candidate will have their own individual mentor. And oftentimes we're going to work with the district. So if a Russell County educator signs up for GREC Ed, if at all possible, we'll work them to get a Russell County schools educator to be their mentor. So it'll have some similar feel to K-TIP in that respect, that you'll have somebody going through this journey with you. And last but not least, it's rigorous, it's authentic, and it's job embedded professional learning. If you want to get better at student engagement, you'll have the chance to do that in your classroom through action research, through working through a PLC and giving evidence of that. There's lots of different ways you can do that. All that to say, that's what GREC Ed provides. What we want to make sure people know is what it is not. It is not an easy, quick route to a rank change. In fact, it may be more rigorous than some master's degree you might decide to go pursue and obtain. And we know that GREC Ed won't be for everyone. You may decide after this that you'd rather go the master's route through a college or university, but we feel like after you hear about it and learn about what you can do through it to grow professionally and advance professionally, we feel like it'll be a really attractive option to you. I mentioned Dan and Kelly earlier, both good doctors here at GRREC. Dr. Costello is joining us officially next Tuesday, I think. It's his official first day with us. He's just been selected as General Education Services Director, and his first launch is GREC Ed. So he's super excited about that. He'll oversee general education, networks, grants, and those kind of things. Doc, you want to say hello?
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today, and looking forward to maybe seeing some of you all get started in January. If I can help, let me know. Thank you.
Great. Our other lead director, Dr. Kelly Davis. You may have known her as the special education director here at GRREC for the past 8 years. We added some duties to her this fall, and she has graciously taken those on Her new title is Exceptional Education, which still covers special education, but also adds gifted, talented, and English learners. And then also she has taken on early childhood services here at GRREC. Kelly?
Hello, everybody. We are so excited to have you here today and share all the information about GRREC Ed, and just let us know how we can help you.
Awesome. Thank you all. All right, a lot of information coming at you. Here's some terms. And again, this will be recorded. You can re-access it and we can help you with, we're going to do a question answer at the end, but running through it, there are two academies for GRREC Ed. The first one is called the AEA, that's the Accomplished Educator Academy, recommended for those with 1 to 5 years of teaching experience. And it's based around the Kentucky Teacher Performance Standards, those 10 standards. So if you're a classroom teacher, practitioner, maybe you're early in your career and you want to go from maybe a rank 3 to a rank 2, Accomplished Educator Academy may be the academy for you. The next one is called the Professional Educator Academy. That's recommended for those with 5 or more years of teaching experience, and that's centered around the 7 Kentucky Teacher Leadership Standards. Maybe you're the department head, maybe you're the grade lead on your team, maybe you lead PLCs in your school, or maybe you're even you want to be an instructional coach. That's the PEA. We could have a cohort with 10 folks pursuing an AEA and 10 folks pursuing a PEA. That's not a huge deal that we would have a mixed cohort, because again, you're going to get to personalize your progression through this GRREC Ed plan. There's 3 components. We'll talk about those in a minute, but you're going to have choices within each component. I think that's one of the most exciting things about the entire program. All right, the framework for both those. As I said, there are 3 components. The 3 C's: the classroom component, the content component, and the capstone component. And it lays out about how many hours we estimate. Now, again, that's over 2 years. So if you do the math on that, it ends up being somewhere around 300 hours, just over 300 hours. And that's spread out over a 2-year timeline. A frequently asked question may be, hey, I really want to go fast and I want to get this done as soon as I can. Is that a possibility to do it in less than 2 years? We think possibly 18 months might be possible, but we wrote the plan for 2 years. We didn't want to rush it and try to jam it all in a year. We want it to be thorough learning. We don't want you to be overwhelmed through the process. So it is designed to be a 2-year timeline. All right, this sheet is what we call the cheat sheet. And we're going to, it's there, I promise. There it is. I have to be still with it. We're going to give you this sheet in a link, and Kelly will add that later today into the chat. But this is the front of the sheet, okay? We've got it divided. This is, if you look at the top, it says option 1, Accomplished Educator Academy. So that's the one we were talking about. And let me go back a slide. So at the top of this sheet, we're talking about the classroom component. In the bottom left-hand corner, we're talking about the content component. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we're talking about the capstone component. What I'm going to do is show you some slides that are going to make these a little larger and easier to read, and I'll walk through each one. But please note that these 3 will be done. You'll be integrating these 3 components. It's not as if you'll do the whole classroom component and then move to the content and then move to the capstone. Over the 2 years, you'll be integrating these 3 components pretty consistently in your learning pursuits. So here's the classroom component. I don't want to go into the super detail, but I'll give you this. You get to choose 12 of the 22 domain indicators in the classroom component, and we'll tell you what it means to choose one in just a minute. But if you want to understand the terminology, the big headings: planning, environment, instruction, and professionalism, which you've seen in the Danielson framework, if you paid attention to that and been around education in Kentucky for the last few years, you've seen the Danielson framework. Those are the 4 domains. But in each domain, there are 5 or 6 indicators. So the example I'm going to use here, if you go to environment and you choose that domain and you go to the indicator that says managing the classroom, and you say, I really want to dig into managing the classroom. Well, that would be one of your 12 domain indicators that you're going to choose. Now, again, don't get overwhelmed. These 12 are going to be spread out over 2 years. So if you get in the first cohort in January and you list your 12 you're going to do, you may choose environment managing the classroom as the very first one you're going to do. And you may spend some time in the next month really focusing on that in your practice, in your classroom, looking at some of those, what do we call those, Dan and Kelly? We didn't call them areas. What were those underneath that, indicators? So you'll look at some of those specifics there, and you could even choose descriptors. Thank you. That's what we called them. And you could choose in managing the classroom, you could be like, I'm really going to work on my transitions. And you could say, well, how will I actually show that when I get back together with my cohort at the end of January? Well, if you go to the bottom, it's got 3 ways you can demonstrate classroom component competency for each of the 12 indicators. So if Kelsey says, hey, I'm going to video myself, she's going to take choice B, record a clip and reflect upon your own implementation of strategies surrounding the topic of managing the classroom, maybe specifically transitions, and then just watching yourself and then reflecting on it when it comes time for your monthly get together with your cohort. I did say monthly. So this is not like a weekly get together with your cohort thing. Your instructional facilitator will get you together monthly, once a month for 2 hours. And you'll do that most likely virtually for most of the time, unless we get a geographically based cohort. Maybe Russell County and Adair County get together and they've got 20 educators and they want to have a cohort called the Russell Adair Science Hill cohort. And again, I'm using GRREC school districts right now, but this can be for any educator in the state. We are not limited. Obviously, we want to take care of our GRREC folks, but if someone from Pike County, so Pikeville to Paducah, as they say on the UK radio broadcast, we can get you in a cohort, okay? So that's the classroom component. You will take those and you will dig into those over 2 years. Again, 22 choices. All right, what's the content component? What do you as a learner want to grow in terms of content? You got 3 choices. You could choose to follow the PD part of this component. You could choose to go the credential route, or you could choose to go the university route. PD means, hey, I'm gonna really dig in and I want to look at some of these topics. And this is not the exhaustive list. There could be others that come up, but you would do some PD in each of your 4 semesters through GRREC Ed within these things, and that would take care of your content part of the component. Or you could do some micro credentials, maybe 1 a semester, you got to do 4 total. Or let's say you want to add gifted, talented endorsement to your certificate, you could go through a university route. If you do the university route, that is an additional cost to you because you're paying Western or whoever to take those 4 courses to add an endorsement to a certificate. You don't have to choose a university route. If you choose credentials or PD, there's no extra cost to you. If you sign up for a PD here at GRREC and it's $100, that is covered in your cost for your GRREC Eds. So I want to make sure you're clear on that. And again, what we are and what we are not. One of the things we are not is we're not going to be able to give you a master's degree. We are providing a rank change through the continuing education option. So when you're done, again, we're not a college or university, and don't pretend to be, but we know professional learning and we know PD and how to help grow teachers. And that's where we're going to focus on in the GRREC Ed plan. So that's the content component. So we've done classroom, we've done content. The third one I've switched now is the capstone component. When they first rolled GRREC Ed out to me, and this has been like a 1.5 years in the works to try to get this program accepted. Some of you, we were talking about this a year ago. When I was in Russellville, I was telling our teachers in Russellville it was going to be ready in January of 2020. We sent it off and the OELE sent it back and said, you need to change A, B, and C. So we we've done those revisions and we've gotten it accepted now. So when I first saw Capstone, they rolled it out to me, I thought this would be the thing I would do. Like I'd wait till the very end. I'd just pick a capstone and do it. It's not the case. You're going to be working on your capstone and you're going to actually choose it at the beginning of your 2 years. It doesn't mean you couldn't change it over time, but you want to tie it together with the rest of your GRREC Ed program. There's 4 ways you can do your capstone. Curriculum development. You could do a field project. You have an issue in your school or district that needs to be addressed. You say, I think I got an idea to address this. You could do it as a thesis kind of model, almost like sort of like a doctorate in that case, to do a thesis. That'd be more scholarly in nature, I guess, if you chose that one. Or you could do an internship project where you would spend time with, gather information from a mentor in a district, write that up and kind of process through that. At the end of the program, you will present your capstone, and that will be before a committee that will include the GRREC, like it will include Dan, it would include your mentor. They wouldn't be scoring you, they'd be there to support you. It would include somebody from your district, probably most likely the point of contact. We've identified a point of contact for each GRREC district for this program. It would include your instructional facilitator, your cohort facilitator also. So that's the way the 3 components work together for GRREC Ed. Now, it took me a while to realize there were 2 sheets here. I thought I was looking at the same thing until they made me flip the sheet of paper over. So you're now looking at option 2. If you look at the title, the best way to figure this out is, this is the Professional Educator Academy. I'm going to go back a few slides. This is the Accomplished Educator Academy. Keep having to tell myself, green background, blue boxes, that's AEA. Blue background and green boxes is the PEA. You say, well, how are they even different? They're not really that different. The only way they're different is in the classroom component. In the classroom component, you would still choose 12, but those are linked to the 7 teacher leader standards rather than the 10 teacher performance standards. And if you want to know more about that, you can Google those, or we'll be glad to you probably know the difference between those already, but we can help you with that. So anyway, that's really the only difference as far as the outline of the 2 programs. So I won't go back through all these again, but I will show you this. You notice that when I go to environment, before this said managing the classroom, right? Is that what it said earlier? Think about managing. So this one says environment motivation theory. So this is maybe more about if you're a teacher that's working with adults perhaps, or working with groups of students, or trying to tell other teachers how to get that going. That one's more, if you look at these indicators, they may be more things that would support a whole school rather than a classroom. What are in planning, it says supports for all students at my elementary school, as opposed to knowing my students for my classroom in the option 1 AEA. You would demonstrate your competency in the same way. We gave the example of the recording section of you teaching earlier. You could also in A, design a PLC, some kind of tool or message to use in your school. You could also do C, option C, providing documentation of collaboration, observing with others who are implementing this particular skill as it's connected. No difference on the content component and no difference on the capstone component for the PEA and then the AEA. They're the same. All right, I know that was a lot of information, but I want to get you guys, it's 4:25, and pretty quickly in the next 10 minutes or so, I want to get to let you ask some questions. So let me hit a few slides here. We have more meetings. Obviously, you're in the one today. We appreciate you being here. Please pass this information word along. Come back, watch another one. Again, we'll have the recording ready, I think, by tomorrow. All right. I like this slide because I'm a numbers person. I love numbers, but I want you, I see some veteran folks out there that like, you know, like we were talking, Rita and I were talking before it started, and you may be talking to young educators, or you may be a young educator or a new educator. Besides growing professionally, why does it matter that you get a rank change? And why do I want to do a rank? Same question we asked back in the day, except we didn't have a choice. We had to get a master's. And then most of us went on and got a rank 1 from there. So this is 2 candidates in Kentucky. Candidate A, I'm going to work through them first, okay? They're going to choose to go for GRREC Ed. Candidate B is going to choose not to go for GRREC Ed. So candidate A in year 6 with a rank 3 is going to make $42,000 on our salary schedule that we grab. This is a real salary schedule, but we'll protect the innocent, won't name where it came from. Candidate B with a rank 3 in year 6 is going to make the exact same thing. Candidate A decides to start GRREC Ed. They pay $5,500. So you could say, well, they're actually $5,500 behind. That's fine. I get it. Candidate B says no to GRREC Ed and saves $5,500. Year 7, they're going to make the exact same thing because candidate A has not completed the program yet. But look at what happens in year 8. Candidate A has now completed the program, and they're going to make in year 8 with a rank 2 $46,000, where candidate B is going to still be at $42,000. So now you start to see the catch up. Years 9 through 30, candidate A is going to be at rank 2 pay unless they choose to go on and advance to a rank 1, which would make this example even more pronounced. Candidate B is going to stay at rank 3 pay, and they're going to stay without that growth that's going to be provided that the candidate's going to earn. They're not only going to earn pay increase, they're going to earn growth as an educator and become a better practitioner with that rank change. So here's the number. I showed this to Kelly Davis earlier, and she says, I don't even think that number is right, Bart. That's a huge number. And I said, yeah, it is, but it's right. So we're going to go back and take your total cumulative salary. So yes, you can become a millionaire teaching, okay? Don't let people tell you that's not true. If you, and this is only years 6 through 30. I didn't even take the first 5 years. If you teach years 6 through 30 on this salary schedule with the rank change, especially coming at year 8, you'll make $1,330,000 in change between years 6 and 30. Now don't forget, it costs you $5,500. I get it, for a total of $1,325,000 in change. If you stay rank 3 all those years and you're candidate B, you'll still be a millionaire, but you'll make $1,238,000. Go to the bottom of the page and look. This is a positive difference of $87,000 to you who chose to get their rank 2 in their 6th, 7th year of being an educator, as opposed to, well, I don't have to have a master's anymore in Kentucky. Why would I go back to school? I don't want to go back to school. It costs money. In the long run, those of you that have been doing, those of us have been doing it for a while, can advise you, besides the growth, it is well worth your time and effort financially for you and your family going forward. And that $87,000 doesn't even exemplify the effect it will have on your retirement. I know many of you are way too far away to think about that right now, but I promise you that'll be a huge difference as well, and an added bonus. So that's the financial analysis that we wanted to share with you. There's a lot of words. If you just take the first bullet and the last bullet, I think that'll be fine. The first bullet says the master's requirement was removed 2 years ago. The last bullet says last Monday, EPSB approved our plan, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. And we're super excited about rolling out GRREC Ed. The in-between stuff just tells you what we did to get there. All right. What does an initial cohort timeline look like? For the very first cohort, we want to receive applications in about 1 month, due by November 15th. Applications are not difficult. It's a Google form and it won't take you long if you decide to apply. We'll review those through the end of November. We will let you know on December 1st if you've been selected for admission in the very first cohort. We may run as many as 3 cohorts beginning in January. With the interest we've had about 200 people or more already express interest via email once we got this news out a week ago today, or a week ago yesterday, that GRREC Ed is happening. If you get selected on December 1st, it would be expected you would make an initial payment. I think I have a slide about that in a minute. If not, I can tell you. But almost like just, getting skin in the game. And then we will have your 2-day orientation for the cohort that begins in January. 2-day orientation for January. I'm sorry, I messed that up. It should be January 2021. We'll get that fixed. But the actual orientation for that January cohort will be December 28th and 29th. We don't believe that we will make you be at GRREC physically for 2 days. We're going to break that into some sessions. Angie Gunter is with us today, Dr. Gunter, and she's going to be leading part of that training on the orientation around action research. I think that's a 2 or 3 hour session. That's likely to be Zoom, and we may do one of those 2 days via Zoom, and one of them we may try to get you here in the GRREC building. We can spread you out and get you socially distanced and get your mentor here so that you can have some face-to-face time 6 feet away from each other. And we would launch that cohort in January. So those monthly meetings that we talked about would take place at the end of each month. Stephanie has a question. Stephanie, are you okay? I can't see you, but if you're okay, in about 5 minutes, I'm going to open it up to a question, or you can put it in the chat, and Kelly, you can try to respond to that if we need to do that sooner. All right. All right, I didn't get that slide in about the payments. So on the payments, and we can add this slide before we can even just add it as we go, or we'll get it done for you. The cost is $5,500. If you want to pay it all up front, we're totally fine with that. If you want to say, I want to do half at the beginning and half at the beginning of my second year, we're totally fine with that. But the other option that we feel like people may be interested in is that we'll let you spread it out over 4 semesters. We would need $1,000 up front for the initial payment. That would be before you started in January, before you started the cohort. And then each semester after that, so it would be July of 2021, before you start your second semester in the cohort, we'd ask for $1,500. Before January of 2022, before your third semester in the cohort, we'd ask for $1,500. And before semester 4 in the cohort, which would be July of 2022, we'd ask for the last $1,500. One of the things we talked about the other day in our team meeting was about whether you could get loans from the government, like for a college, like if you went back to college and did that. I don't see that happening because we're not a college entity. But with SoFi and different things, there's other ways you can get loans and do that. And we will talk to you through it. We're not going to be able to change the cost, but we don't want cost to be you being able to pay it at certain times and be able to prohibit folks from doing it. I can't promise that any of your districts would entertain this, but we're going to talk to the POCs in some of the districts. One of the things we did in Russellville, well, Angie knows about this, is in Russellville, we wanted more teachers to be nationally board certified. So we were able to tell those teachers via a contract that they signed that if they would pursue national board certification and get it, we would pay for part of that for them. And then their return to us would be that they'd agree to stay with us. I think it was 2 to 3 years after getting national board certification. And eventually we'd be even. And if they left before that, they would pay us back for the part that we paid for them. So we're going to roll that out to some districts who say, hey, we got a great set of young teachers. We want them to get rank changes because we know it makes them better. This program is all about job embedded. We can even help guide them towards picking their classroom component areas, perhaps. We may put some money in for them and do a contract with them. But I mean, again, that's not anything that's official or anything yet. I'm just giving you ideas of ways to be creative. We don't want And we know that we're going to be less expensive than a master's degree. We know that. But we don't want cost to keep you from being able to do this. I remember what those days were like. You had this predicament, this conundrum of, man, the sooner I can get my master's, the sooner I can start paying for it, but I don't have the money to get my, at the time, that's when you were getting paid the least you were getting paid in your educational career. So we get it. All right. The only task we need officially from you, and then we'll start questions and answers. You can get off if you like, if you don't want to stay around for questions and answers, or probably a lot of questions, and then we'll figure out the answers. We don't have them all today. Is we'll need you to click GRREC Ed interest survey. And it's very short, very simple, and it will give you boxes at the bottom to check that say, I'm way in, where's the application, to one level down, which says, I'm pretty interested. I want somebody to call me and talk to me about this a little more in the next couple of weeks, to I'm really interested. I don't think January is going to be the answer for me. Maybe I want to start in the July cohort. We're going to start cohorts about every 6 months. That's our plan. So we'll start some in January of 2021. We'll start another cohort or multiple cohorts in July of 2021, January of 2022. That's the goal, to start them about every 6 months until we get saturated and have to have, Dan says, I got to have some help. We got to hire a GRREC Ed director. I can't, pull all this off as a general ed director. So fill out that survey, and then, yeah, that's an org chart. You don't need that. All right, that is the set of slides at this time. We can open it up. I don't know about the hand raising thing. You're welcome to unmute. And if 7 of you are talking at once, we can figure it out. We'll just take turns. So.
Bart, before people start asking questions, I'm going to go ahead. If you're ready, I'll start linking in some different documents into the chat. I'll put the header in front, like I'm going to put interest survey, and then I'm going to put the link to the interest survey. So just know that I'm getting ready to start loading all those in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll put the, what we call the cheat sheet also. It's crazy. I'm like holding up a piece of paper, but I can't see it there somewhere. We'll put the cheat sheet in, and Kelly, we have the application will also be, will that be downloaded? Downloadable? Awesome. And what about the frequently asked questions? We've got a set of frequently asked questions. You may not even think of them right now, but later on you can access those and be like, oh yeah, that was the question I should have asked. I need to know that. But you got some burning questions right now, so somebody lead us off with a question. Stephanie, you had a hand up earlier, I think. Do you have anything you want to ask a question about?
Kelsey's asking, is there a cap of how many people will be accepted?
So each cohort, we're going between 15 and 25 people. January of 2021, we would like to think that we might be able to start 3 cohorts, which could be up to 60 people. One of those cohorts is reserved for Terry Stice, because one of the grants we have is STEM CS grant. And we've promised some folks that are in that grant a rank change as part of that grant. And so that'll be a kind of a captive audience cohort. So really that leaves at least two cohorts available. So we could take 40 people in January 2021. And I'm not beyond thinking that if we had 60 more people above the Terry Stice cohort that wanted in, we might start 4 cohorts in January, with one of them reserved for Terry and 3 others. We've got facilitators lined up. Mentors is going to be something we're going to have to, aggressively go after and make sure we have those lined up. But other than that, and just getting people to apply and be accepted, yeah, we're not beyond starting several cohorts in January.
Dallas is asking if all districts are going to accept this form of rank change. Bart, if you want to address that.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Dallas, because what we're going to do after you finish the GRREC Ed program, because we've been approved by EPSB or OELE, you get done, we send them documentation. Hey, Dallas is done. They change your certificate. Like your certificate will be changed and it'll say rank 2. So districts will, it's not a, well, my district going to tell you, your certificate will actually say rank 2. Now, again, we always want to be completely transparent. This, again, it's not a master's. So if you went to Oklahoma and they said, hey, you got to have a master's degree here to get this certain salary, or, you know, you got to have a master's degree to teach in Oklahoma. This is for a rank change for the Kentucky, the way Kentucky does business, but all the public school districts, all 171 of them in Kentucky are, you know, OELE is under Kentucky Department of Education. So they're going to see it on your certificate. Does that answer your question, Dallas? That was a really good question. What types of evidence will be submitted for each area? Is it a pass fail similar to national boards? So great question. Dr. Gunter, you seem ready to answer a question. I'm going to you with this one.
That is a good question, Ellen. And so each month when you meet with the facilitator, you'll have 3 options. And because this is classroom action research, whatever you're studying, let's say your environment, maybe it's a classroom environment, as Bart mentioned earlier, then you could either develop a tool or a curricular resource or something that helps you manage your classroom environment or get to know your students, that sort of thing. So you would apply that in your classroom. The development of that tool would be a piece of evidence. That's one. The second piece of evidence might be a video in which you get somebody to capture a little bit of you enacting what you've learned about managing a classroom environment or creating a positive classroom environment. Then you'd write a little reflection on that. That'd be your second option, is the video. The third option is maybe you haven't implemented it, maybe you haven't videoed yourself, but you see a group of PLC or other leaders who are doing a great job at it. You could provide documentation that you interviewed that person, observed that person, or worked with that person in the PLC to get to a better understanding of what, say, classroom management was. So every month for the 2-hour meetings, that's what we'll be doing, is sharing those pieces of evidence from the classroom. So it really is job embedded.
And I'll add to that, Doc. In my brain, if Bart Fleener comes in January and everybody's presenting their classroom component, you know, you got to choose 12 of these and you're doing 1 a month. And I don't nail managing the classroom environment like my cohort facilitator thought I should have nailed it. They're not going to say in my brain, hey, you failed. They're going to say, hey, you need to circle back around and come back and do a little more of that and just bring that back to me on the side, because we want to give you credit for number 1 on your way to the other. You know, you got 12 to do in 2 years. We want to make sure you're checking off those 12 boxes along the way.
That's true. And so many of them overlap. You know, there's so many of them that you can get to with doing other things. So it's not going to be a punitive process by any means, but a learning process.
I got a question for you all while you all are thinking of questions. So what excites you after hearing about the GRREC program? What excites you in terms of maybe this being something you'd be interested in? What are the more intriguing things about it?
I think for me, Mary Kaylin is my name. I think for me, what excites me is that I have done some master classes. I tried to start at Western, and then I switched gears and went to Cumberland's to do school counseling. But I think what I really enjoy the most about this is that I get to do it at my school. Like, I get to work with my students and learn with them and not sit on a computer and just listen to, because I'm a hands-on person, and I love that this is going to be hands-on experience, still getting that mentorship, but I get to do it with my kids. Every single day I'm learning new things. So that's what I'm really excited about, because I've done the university, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I didn't finish, is because I didn't get to be with, I didn't get to learn beside my students. I had to do that separately on a computer and sit and read out of a book. So I'm really excited. Thank you.
Thanks. Great answer. Yeah, Shelby in Dawson Springs says the job embedded aspect, getting to do it like Mary Caitlin just said, in the classroom, trying new things, growing as a professional, directly relates to what you want to get better at. Like you say, you're not going to a college class, man, I hope this person brings me some stuff I can use. You're going to go through here and pick stuff and go try it, that practitioner aspect of it, and then get feedback on it. And I love the idea you get feedback from your peers. I figured that somebody will say also at some point the idea of doing it in a cohort model, with some folks that, over 2 years, you're going to really come to appreciate and get to know and develop those relationships. Rebecca says, enjoy being able to work with students who you already have a relationship with and address those things in real time rather than textbook. I like it. Other questions, thoughts, concerns? That's pretty good. We might get done before 5 o'clock. We want some feedback also on these Zoom meetings. We didn't want to overwhelm you with information, but we want to give you an overview of it. Was there anything you missed today that you think we should do more of in the next Zoom meeting or less of? Or do you have a good sense going away that if you pursue GRREC Ed, you kind of know what you're getting into? And we want to make sure, again, that it may not be for everybody. We understand that. That's okay too. But we try to present what we believe it's going to be if you choose to come on board. All right. It's 4:48 on a Wednesday afternoon. We won't make you stay on. Kelly has uploaded frequently asked questions. She has uploaded the interest survey. If you would please, that's the only thing we ask you to do for sure today, complete the interest survey. She's also uploaded the application. If you're ready to go and be the first enrollee, the application is loaded there. So feel free to jump on that. And in the interest survey, you're giving us your preferred phone number. And all you got to do is just hit us with, in the interest survey, is there a comment box, Kelly? If they said, please call me, I want to talk some more about that or something. Or the best way
On the interest survey, one of the options is I'd like to talk to somebody. I'm interested, but I still have some more questions.
All right, so great. Any questions you have about it? This is new program for us too, but we can't wait to get started. It's what we love doing the most at GRREC, which is helping grow you as a professional. You're out there on the front lines doing the hard work, and we want to help you be as good as you can at it in effective and efficient ways that will also advance you professionally and help you help your family. That's part of the deal. All right. You do not have to stay on any longer. We have your course. So please, one other thing is, like, spread this to your colleagues, anybody in your school that doesn't have a rank 2 or rank 1. So, hey, man, there's a program, y'all at least check it out. It's worth listening to see if it might be for you. And maybe you can get them and you can have we could literally, I was thinking, Rebecca, have a Russellville, Logan, Simpson County, Todd County cohort that might even, we might get an instructional facilitator from down in that area. And when we do get to meet for real again, they can meet at LCTC or something like that, you know, once a month. So you wouldn't have to always come to GRREC. Any of the GRREC team members, I thank y'all for joining. I see Grace and Rebecca and Kelly, and I saw Savannah. I don't know if I'm missing anybody. Grace, there's Grace, and I got her. Angie's an honorary member still. We still count her as a member. Yeah, any of you guys from GRREC, anything else to add?
We're excited and thank you all for coming today, and lots of great comments and questions. So just let us know how we can help you.
Thank you
Same
all. Have a
here.
great Wednesday evening.
Bart, if I can
Thank
interrupt
you.
Go
real
ahead, Dan.
quick, I added the GRREC email, GRREC Ed email. So if you want to
Awesome.
send messages to GRREC Ed, you can do that, or to any of us, of course, that's great too.
Great.
Thank you all.
So a specific GRREC Ed email we have just for this. And I say we'll have the website up and running for this as well in the next week or so, I believe. Thank you all.
Thank you.